What's going on YouTube? This is Devin coming back at you with another video today on Pub Stomp MTG. Glad to have you here. Today we're going to be looking at Ezuri Claw Progress. He is a very classic commander all the way back in 2015. I thought it'd be a good idea to come back to him because he hasn't been seen in a while, especially with more updated commanders that honestly are a little bit better. But I do like Ezuri Claw Progress because now he has been errated to a Phyrexian Elf Warrior, which is absolutely an awesome typing as well. I'm glad they're adding the Phyrexian typing to Magic cards. I think that is honestly the perfect way to go about those things because Phyrexians are very well known. But with Ezuri specifically, there is a lot of upgrades over the years that you may want to consider for this deck if you're building it from scratch, or if you have the deck, you may want to consider putting these cards in there because he is a lot of fun. I play tested him a couple times, and he is a blast to play, especially with those small 1/1 creatures or 2/2 creatures coming on the battlefield. Even though he has a specific archetype that only uses 1/1 counters for his build, you could go a lot of different routes with that. So with this deck tech, I want to go definitely a bunch of different routes you could choose. You could definitely go more token themed, putting all those 1/1 to 2/2 tokens onto the battlefield as well. But if you so choose, there's also another really great archetype that if you want to win more but lose friends in the process, going the infect route would be definitely devastating to a lot of opponents. I'll definitely be covering some of those creatures in there. I mean, you don't have to put them in your deck, but they are pretty nice to have if you want to end the game early. Now let's shift our focus to small creatures that you should include in the deck. Champion of Lambtoll and Herald of the Secret Streams will help you get your little creatures to get into damage because of their unblockable abilities. I really do like Herald, especially because creatures with 1/1 counters on them can't be blocked. That's going to be really easy in this deck, as you can see. So I think they're really great includes in the deck if you want to add them in. Speaking of really good includes, Cold Eye Selkie is fantastic in the deck because the more counters you put on Cold Eye Selkie, the more cards you're going to draw. We do also have some really great cards for those 1/1 counters. We have Chasm Skulker and Mana Gorger Hydra when you're playing spells or when other people are playing spells. If you're talking about Mana Gorger Hydra, they're all fantastic. Chasm Skulker is really great in this deck. Whenever he dies, you create 1/1 squid creature tokens to the number of counters on him. So overall, I think he is super fantastic in the deck. Mana Gorger will get out of hand really fast. It's kind of crazy how fast counters could get out of hand with this deck. We also have Proliferate, which is awesome and will just be absolutely critical in your deck because the more you're going to proliferate, the more you're just going to put counters on creatures you control and also infect. We have Inexorable Tide for whenever you cast a spell, you proliferate. Drumming Bird whenever you deal damage with him. You also have two really great creatures from War of the Spark that are really great includes in here. We have Flux Channeler and Evolution Sage. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell or whenever you put a land on the battlefield, you will proliferate, which is fantastic. We do have Viral Drake, which is really great as well because if you have a lot of mana lying around, you can just keep on proliferating, and also has Infect. Speaking of Infect, we do have a lot of really great synergies with Infect, especially with Ezuri. Because Phyrexians are really known for that Infect ability, I thought it'd be really great to introduce them into this deck. I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of Infect because it kind of takes the spirit away from Commander. For me personally, I don't really care if people play Infect because there are already a lot of combos that end the game faster than Infect in my opinion. Plus, sometimes you'll be a target if you play Infect, so you better watch out if you do play Infect. But overall, I do think Infect is a pretty neat strategy in my opinion. It's pretty unique to the Phyrexians. And because of Dominaria United with all the Phyrexians coming around, I think it'd be a perfect opportunity to make an Infect deck. We do have Blighted Agent, Listener Elf, Phyrexian Swarmlord, and Verdant Corruptor. These are all fantastic game includes. Blighted Agent can't be blocked and has Infect, and the more counters you put on him, the more it's going to be ending the game faster for your opponents. However, with Phyrexian Swarmlord, holy crap, it could get really out of hand with Ezuri because at the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 green insect creature token with Infect for each poison counter your opponents have. Opponents, not just opponent. So that could get out of hand really fast for the amount of bugs you put on the battlefield, and it will also make Ezuri have more experienced counters because of that ability. Verdant Corruptor is also really great because it'll destroy a target artifact, so nice utility there. So overall, if you do play Infect, I would be cautious with your play group, see if it's okay with them. I don't personally mind, but I know a lot of people do care about that. But we do want to kind of switch gears from Infect to splashy spells. Vorinclex will actually really help that Infect if you want to do that, or it'll really help you with your counter synergy. So overall, Vorinclex is an absolute auto-include in the deck. Mycoloth is also really great too, because if you're sacrificing a lot of these tokens that you're going to be making, you're just going to be putting 1/1 counters on it, then it'll make 1/1 green Sapperling tokens, so that will keep on triggering Ezuri's ability at each upkeep that you have. I also thought it'd be a really good idea to have Bane of Progress in this deck. We don't run a lot of artifacts or enchantments, mainly because we're running a lot of small creatures. I mean, we do have some splashy spells, but it's really low to the ground and you don't really need a lot of things. So artifacts, and I mean, we do have some enchantments, but artifacts are the main get-go here because a lot of people like to play their artifact synergies. So Bane of Progress will absolutely annihilate a lot of decks because of that ability. Moving along to this last section of the video, for Ezuri Claw Progress, we do have a pretty classic combo that would be really great for the deck if you want to run it. Some of you may be familiar with this combo if you've been around for a while. It hasn't been seen too much because I feel like people have strayed away from extra turns, but we do have this really great combo with Ezuri and Sage of Hours. So the way this combo is going to work is pretty simple. As long as you have 5 or more experience counters on Ezuri, you will be able to put those counters on Sage of Hours, and you remove all those counters. For each 5 counters removed this way, you take an extra turn. So as you can see, this is a pretty classic combo where you will definitely gain infinite amount of turns as long as Ezuri does have 5 or more experience counters. So overall, I think it's pretty fun and a good way to end the game if you so choose to do so. But that'll do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. That's definitely the best way to support this channel as I'm trying to grow it. Let me know, what are your thoughts about Ezuri Claw Progress, and also what about the Dominaria spoilers that have been released? I know there's been a lot of storyboards that have been presented with sleeper agents and all that above, and it's just absolutely insane. I do really love the story that's coming about with Shieldred, Karn, and also Ajani. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts about Ezuri, or really anything about the Phyrexians. So with that out of the way, thank you for stopping by.